In this video, I'm going to tell you 25 interesting facts about ERLC. So if you do enjoy, please like and subscribe as it helps out a lot. You can also join my Discord server. We have an amazing community over there. It's always really kind and friendly. We also do Robux giveaways over there. And you can also follow me on Twitter. All of this will be linked in the description below. But anyways, enjoy. Okay, so the first interesting fact is that all police cars and sheriff cars have had a total of 3 different liveries in the time that they have been in ERLC. Oh my gosh, okay, what just happened there? But anyway, as I was saying, they've had a total of 3 different liveries throughout their time in ERLC. So if I can find some pictures, I'll put them on screen now. Some of you will remember what they look like. But yeah, they've been changed a total of 3 different times, which is quite crazy. Okay, so number 2 is that the vehicles on the civilian team are actually slower than they are on the police team, even if it's the same vehicles. I'm going to spawn in a Ford Crown Victoria right now. Now bear in mind, this is also on the police team. It's the exact same car. I have gold wheels on it and stuff right now, but so I'm just going to drive as fast as I can, and I'll show you the top speed of this, and then I'll switch to the police team and show you the top speed of that. So we're about reaching it now. So as you can see, 94 miles per hour is the top speed of this car. So I'm going to switch over to the police team now and show you what the top speed of this one is, because it's actually a bit faster. So if I just head over here and spawn in the Crown Victoria, as you can see, it's the same car, just on the police team and not. Now this is a thing that is like in real life. Police vehicles are actually faster in real life than the normal version of the car. So as you can see, the top speed of this is 104 miles per hour, as you just saw just there. So that is the second fact. Let's move on to number 3. Okay, so some of you may know that on the police team there is actually like traffic cameras, same on the sheriff team as well. But when I just respawn here, if I run back here, and if you come into this office at the end here, it's also in the sheriff station as well. But if you sit down, these cameras here, they were never actually announced in an update. So it was kind of an Easter egg until people started to find it. It was never publicly announced. It wasn't in the game when the game was first released either. So it's quite interesting that that is a thing, and I'm not sure why it was never like announced in an update log. But yeah, so that is pretty interesting. Let's move on to number 4. So number 4, while we're at the police station, is a good idea to showcase this. So throughout the time ERLC has been a thing for, which is I think 3 years now, the police station and most of the buildings in the city have never actually been updated at all. So the police station, as you can see, it's quite a basic design. It's just a square with some images as the windows, and most of the buildings in the city as well are actually the same. Like this one here has not been changed once since ERLC was first made over 3 years ago. The fire station has been updated, but only very recently. So has the sheriff's office. But some of these buildings here, yeah, as you can see, they're quite just a basic design, and these have never been updated from when the game was first released, which is quite crazy. So number 5, I'm quite sad that they don't do this anymore, but ERLC used to have an update every single week around 2019 time. Now I don't remember the exact month, but it was the time where I just got ERLC. I wasn't really too interested in it, but yeah, they used to have updates every single week, weekly updates for many months in a row. Which is quite sad they don't do it anymore, but they obviously just don't have the time for that, because the updates they do now are really high quality, so that's why they don't do weekly ones anymore. But it would be really cool if we still had weekly updates. Okay, so the next interesting fact is that there are a total of 7 ATMs and 7 jewelry cases that you can rob in the entirety of ERLC. So as you can see, there's 4 in the main city, 2 in like the area across the river, and then 1 in the farm area. And then there's 7 jewelry cases you can rob inside of the jewelry store. So that is the 6th one. Let's move on to number 7. So number 7 is once again on the police team. So I'm just going to reset here. So I did mention this in the best Game Pass video that I did a few months ago now, or weeks ago, I'm not quite sure, I can't remember. But basically, none of the SWAT gear actually gives you more protection, and neither does the riot shield in your vehicle. So if I just spawn in a vehicle right now, let's just go with the 2020 Interceptor utility, and then if you go to your trunk over here, then you can actually get out the riot shield. Now the riot shield doesn't actually like stop bullets from hitting you, and all it does really is slow you down, so you can't run with the riot shield. I'm holding shift right now, and nothing is happening, and you walk really slowly as well. So this is honestly just really useless because it doesn't give you any advantages, and if anything it gives you more disadvantages because it slows you down instead of actually like protecting you. So that is an interesting thing to know. I don't recommend you use the riot shield or buy the SWAT game pass in my opinion, but of course that is your choice. Okay, so number 8 is that all of like the scenery in ERLC is actually made out of duplicated images that are just rotated. So this is really interesting. You can tell when you first join the game, but when you've been playing it for a while you don't really notice. But as you can see, all of these kind of bushes and trees here, they're all like images. If you go really close up you can kind of see like the quality loss, and you can see where they just like kind of like rotate them and end. So that's quite interesting, and if you find like a correct bush or tree, then you can actually see like the same parts of it just rotate in a different area. So as you can see, this part here where these two are, and then this part here where these two are, you can see they're actually the same. That's because it's just rotated and moved around a little bit. So that is really interesting. I don't really notice it anymore. It's not a big issue. Most games use this. They don't really kind of add like proper trees because that adds more lag to the game. I completely understand why they did this, and I don't think it affects the game at all. But yeah, it's just interesting to know. So number 9 is actually that ERLC has one of the best anti-exploit protections in the entirety of ERLC. So I pretty much am certain that none of you guys have properly seen an exploiter that's actually like ruined the gameplay on ERLC, because I've been playing it for many years and I have never actually seen an exploiter, which is quite crazy because on every other game that I can imagine I've played on Roblox really, I can remember seeing an exploiter at some point if I've played it for a while. So that's quite crazy. The anti-exploit is really good on ERLC. They did a great job making that, as well as everything else as well. But yeah, that is really interesting to know, because you know that you're safe and you're not going to have any roleplays ruined by exploits. So that's quite nice to know. But let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is that the fuel stations never used to have an interior. So all that it was just a boring kind of exterior. They had a little room in the back, but it actually had nothing in it. I just got wanted from running red light, so I'm now on the civilian team, or criminal. So I'm just going to drive over to the gas station just next to civilian spawn, and I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see, as we get closer, you'll see this interior here, and this was never here. All it was this little back room here, and there was a door around the back. If I can find some footage of that, I'll show you it on screen now. But yeah, so these never had an interior. The interior isn't that detailed, it's just a few kind of parts and stuff, but it's really good for roleplay, and maybe it'll be a new job in the future. Who knows, I might make a video on that, but you know, we'll talk about that in another time. But yeah, so that's quite interesting that they never had an interior, and it was all just the exterior where you could just press E to fill up your car. That guy is not a very good driver, but anyway, let's move on to the next one. So the next one is quite interesting because there are a total of 57 different houses that you can actually buy in ERLC. So there are, the max players in a server is 26, I think, in a private server. I think it's the same in a public server. I don't see why it would not be. But yeah, so as you can see, there are 57 total houses where you can walk up to them, press E on this for sale sign, and buy the home. There are 57 different houses, which means that every single player can get a house. And if you could buy more than one house, then every player would be able to buy at least 2 houses, some even 3. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, let's move on to the next one, number 12 I think now. Okay, so the next one is on the fire and rescue team. So if I just unwanted myself here, and then if I join the fire and rescue team, then you'll see what I mean. So when you're on the fire team, as you'll see, the ladder truck has more horsepower than all of the other vehicles on the fire team, and I think it actually has a faster top speed, which is crazy because the ladder truck is actually the largest vehicle in the entire game, and it's the largest vehicle on the fire and rescue team. So if you're saying it's faster than every other fire vehicle, even the Tahoe, which is like just a normal vehicle, that's quite crazy, because as you can see, this vehicle is really huge. Now some of you guys might be like, well, it's the biggest vehicle in the game, so it obviously has to have a lot more horsepower. But the top speed on this is actually not much slower than any of the other fire and rescue vehicles. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so just recently ERLC released real merchandise, so I'm just going to show you what this looks like quickly. Okay, so if you go to shop.policeroleplay.community, you can see all of their merchandise right now, and it's not too expensive really, it's pretty good. I actually really like how all of this looks. I would love to get some at some point, but this looks really cool. You can get a sticker to put on your computer or something, or anything that you really want really. The website is really nicely made as well. Huge well done to them for this. It looks amazing. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is actually on the main ERLC homepage. So ERLC hit 100 million visits on exactly the 9th of February 2021. So it's good if we remember that date for in the future when maybe they hit 500 million visits and maybe even 1 billion visits at some point. It might not happen, but it probably will, to be honest, because ERLC is a great game and it is only growing at rapid speeds, which is really nice to see, because the game is amazing. So that's good to know, and hopefully we can come back to this in the future and know this fact and know the exact date to see how much it's grown. That'll be really interesting to look back on in the future. Okay, so as of March 2021 when I'm recording this video, but the only form of transportation in the entire game is by vehicle. So there are no planes, no boats, no buses or taxis and things like that. And there are kind of nothing like air transport or water transport or kind of mass transport like buses, as I just mentioned. So yeah, that's really interesting, but it is expected that we will see a new form of transportation. Maybe motorbikes is what I'm thinking. They said that there is something that they've said no to in the past that is coming in the future in ERLC, so that's really cool. I just got wanted again. But yeah, there's loads of videos on that if you want to find out more about that. But basically they're adding a new vehicle that kind of like isn't like a normal car. No one knows what it is yet, but that's really interesting to see. It's probably coming in a few weeks. By the time this video is uploaded, it might even already be out. I'm not really sure, but yeah, so that's really interesting. I can't wait to see what that is. That will be really interesting. Loads of people are making rumours and things, but it's not actually confirmed, so I'm not going to mention any of them. But my best guess is maybe motorcycles. That would be really cool to see, but it's not confirmed. Don't take my word. It could be something completely different. But let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one is if you're actually wanted, then in the hospital, if you lie on the beds, then it will actually heal you. So I'm not damaged right now, so I can't really showcase this. But you can test it for yourself. If you're ever injured, then you don't need to call an EMS or reset or anything. You can just come in here and lie down on one of the closest beds. So if you just come through here, then through here into patient room 1, you can just lie down on here and it will heal you quite quickly as well, to be honest, so that's good. But yeah, that's just nice to know. So if you're ever injured, you can just come here without having to call EMS, which is quite nice. But let's move on to the next one. So on the police team, as some of you may know, there is a Ford Mustang Shelby GT350. Now before, this actually used to be a Chevrolet Camaro SS, but that was removed because it was really overused. None of these required a rank. The Ford Mustang Shelby GT350 you can just buy with in-game money. But that did replace the Chevrolet Camaro SS. So if some of you guys are wondering where that went, it basically just got replaced by that car, which is quite sad because I did like that car. But it definitely was overused. Too kind of OP for the police team, if you could say, because like everyone had one pretty much and it was just chaos. And the Ford Mustang Shelby GT350 looks much better as well, which is nice because the Chevrolet Camaro is quite an old model. So yeah, it's good that that was switched over. But let's move on to the next one. Okay, so have you guys ever tried to join one of the teams, like the police team for example, in ERLC, and you've seen that it said this team is currently full, and then you were like, oh okay, the police team's full, let me join the sheriff team, and then you saw, but oh wait, that team is also full. So the reason this is because only 4 in 10 people in a server can join the police team at once. So say if there's 10 people in your server, then only 4 people can be on the police team, which means that the maximum amount of people in a server on the police team is around 10 people. It might be a few more, it might be a few less, but it's around 10 people. So that's quite interesting to know, and if you ever can't join the police team because it says it's full, then you now know the reason why. Okay, so the next one is the DOT team, and the DOT team was added in 2020, which was just last year. So this team is the newest team, and it was only added like half a year ago now, which means that this team was added over 3 years after the game was originally released, which is quite crazy because it feels like it's been in here like the whole time now, really. So that's quite interesting to know. For new players, you might not know that. You might think that the DOT team has always been here, but it actually hasn't. It was over 3 years since the game was first released before this was added, which is crazy in my opinion. Okay, so number 20 is that the highest rank on the police team and sheriff team is commander/chief deputy, which is 20,000 XP. And to get 20,000 XP, that means you have to make about 800 different arrests on the police team, which is quite a lot and it will take you a while. But if you play this game a lot, that won't be too hard to grind up to, and it's definitely worth it because, you know, you get a lot of kind of credit, and there's a lot more roleplays you can do if you're commander. On the police team it's called commander, and the sheriff team is called chief deputy, if you're wondering about that, by the way. But that moves us on to the next one, which is the fire and rescue. The highest rank on this is captain, which is only 13,000 XP, 7,000 less than the commander/chief deputy on the police team, which means that you would have to put out about 288 fires, which would take you quite a while as a fire spawns around every 5 minutes. Remember, this does not count in private servers, so make sure you're in a public server if you're going to do this. But the next one is Department of Transportation, and the highest rank is only 4,750 XP, and that is senior technician, and to get that you would have to tow and impound about 105 vehicles. So you would actually have to go to them, tow them, and then drop them off in the yellow square, which is just here behind the DOT station, and then that will count as one impounded vehicle. Number 23 is that you should like this video if you enjoyed, and number 24 is that you should subscribe to my YouTube channel also if you enjoyed. I do many more videos just like this one, so be sure to go and check out my other videos, as I do many different tutorials and interesting videos like this one where I tell you guys some cool things about ERLC that you might not know. And number 25 is that you should join my Discord server and follow me on Twitter. There is a great community in my Discord server, and I do various Robux giveaways over Discord and Twitter, and it helps me out a lot if you go and join them. We have over 1,300 members on Discord, which is crazy. Thank you all so much for that. But yeah, so that is it for this video. If you did enjoy, please like and subscribe as it helps out a lot. Remember to join all of my Discord servers and follow me on Twitter. You can also join my Roblox group. I don't really advertise that, but you can buy my merchandise as well, all in my Roblox group. And if you want to friend me on Roblox, you can buy my large donation, which is also my Roblox group. All of this is linked below, and if you buy my large donation, I will accept your friend request. Now this might go off sale soon, so my friends list doesn't get too full, but yeah, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.